Ever had a moment so powerful that you didn't just do the work, you became the work, where you weren't painting the picture, but the picture was painting through you, where you weren't writing the words, but the words were writing themselves? That's the magic of flow. And if you felt it once, you know it's unforgettable. Now, if you saw my first video on flow state, you know we talked about what it is, how to access it, and the triggers that help you get there. And since a few of you asked me to go deeper, and thank you for doing that, this is part 2. It's a continuation by your request. And today we're not talking about how to get into flow, but we're going deeper. We're talking about why living in flow will transform your life forever. So let's focus on the benefits of flow. Let's start with creativity. In flow, your brain literally lights up in new ways. Parts of the brain that usually don't talk to each other suddenly connect. It's like your mind becomes a jazz band improvising in perfect harmony. That's why the world's greatest breakthroughs, like the inventions, the masterpieces, the solutions, so often come when someone is deep in flow. Think of the writer who forgets to eat because the story is spilling out of them. The musician who disappears into the notes and comes out with a masterpiece. The entrepreneur who suddenly sees a solution they've been stuck on for months. In flow, your creativity isn't forced. It's unleashed. And once you've tasted that, you'll never go back. Picasso once said, "Inspiration exists, but it has to find you working." What he meant was, flow is not random. Like he painted for hours daily, not to chase a spark, but to invite flow, right? And it was in that flow that some of his most iconic pieces emerged. That's the gift of flow. When you stop forcing and start allowing, creativity doesn't just appear, right? It overflows. Another benefit is productivity. So let's talk about it. Because let's be honest, most of us are drowning in distractions. Like we check our phones before we even check in with ourselves. We multitask until our minds are exhausted. And we're busy like all day, but at the end of the day, nothing really moved forward, right? Like we're busy all day doing different things, but at the end of the day, we're still in the same place. So flow is the opposite. Flow is focus on fire. Like in 2 hours of flow, you can accomplish more than most people do in an entire day. Why? Because when you're in flow, the part of your brain that constantly second guesses you, it quiets down. So you stop overthinking and you stop doubting and you just like act, right? You just move. And decisions happen faster, actions become smoother. It's like trading in a rusty old bike for a sports car. That's a nice trade, right? So it will be like the same effort but completely different speed. In fact, studies show that people in flow are up to 500% more productive. That's quite a lot, like 500% more. That means that what normally takes 5 days can take 1. Imagine what that means for your goals, your dreams, your future. Think about that task you've been procrastinating on. The thing you keep saying you'll do tomorrow. What if instead of pushing it off like for weeks, you entered flow and crushed it in 2 hours? That's not just productivity, that's freedom. And let's not say 2 hours, imagine you take a little bit more, let's say a day. But from 2 weeks to a day or 2, that's quite an advantage, right? But maybe the most underrated benefit of flow is an emotional benefit. Think about it, like when you're in flow, anxiety, it disappears, right? Not because your problems vanish, but because you're too present to feed them. When you're in flow, stress melts because instead of juggling like 10 things, your whole being is absorbed in one thing. And here's the science. Flow is literally a chemical high. Like your brain releases dopamine, norepinephrine, endorphins, and that's why you feel unstoppable. That's why you feel alive when you're in flow. Flow makes you happy, and not the shallow, like fleeting kind of happy, but the deep, fulfilling kind. The happiness that comes from knowing you're fully alive, fully present, fully you. That's the power of flow. It's not just about doing, it's about healing. And the more you practice flow, the more it gives back. Every time you step into flow, you're training your brain to focus. Every time you return, you return into flow state, you're proving to yourself that you can do hard things. And slowly, your identity shifts. Like you're no longer the person who says, one day I'll write that book. You're the person who's already writing it. You're no longer the person who says, I wish I could focus. You're the person who knows how to draw pen and create at will. So flow builds resilience. It builds self-trust, and over time, it builds the life you've been dreaming of. Here's something most people miss, is that flow isn't just about productivity, it's about identity. Like when you live in flow, you stop identifying as someone who's constantly trying and not doing, but you start identifying as someone being, like someone who does things. A painter doesn't think, I should paint. Like they go and paint. A writer doesn't think, maybe I'll write one day. Like they go and write. And an athlete doesn't think, maybe I'll go training one day. Like they train. So flow shifts you from intention to embodiment. And it's in those flow states where we find meaning. Because meaning is not found scrolling or doubting or waiting. It's found in doing. In the moments when time disappears and you remember who you really are. So I'm going to share some practical tips on how to practice flow daily. So how do you build more flow into your life? Let's make it practical. Choose one activity that lights you up. It could be cooking or baking, painting, writing, coding, dancing, exercising. It doesn't matter what. Just pick one and carve out a distraction-free block of time. It could be even 20 minutes. Put your phone away, close the tabs, tell people you're unavailable, and set a clear goal. Flow loves clarity. Don't just write. Be specific, write 500 words. Don't just paint. It's paint one sketch, right? Push slightly beyond your comfort zone because flow lives in the balance between challenge and skill. If it's too easy, you'll get bored, and if it's too hard, you'll get anxious. So aim for that sweet spot and repeat daily if possible. Okay, so don't do it just once and then forget about it. Because flow isn't luck, it's practice, so you have to build it up, right? The more you show up, the more it shows up for you. So here's my challenge to you for the next 7 days. Carve out a 120-minute block a day. Protect it, step into it with intention, and don't wait to feel ready. Just do it. Just start. And watch how your creativity, your productivity, and your happiness begin to shift. Because flow isn't just about doing more, it's about being more, being present, being alive, being fully you. Your best self is already here. Flow is just the doorway. And since this video was requested as after part 1, I want to thank you for inspiring this series. And if you haven't seen part 1, I will link it at the end of this video so you can go check it out. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, join the community, and Let's keep growing together and see you soon, and let's bloom. Bye bye.